Oh, so you can get situated. We will be sitting in a chair with the dowel. So unless if you feel that you want to sit in a chair, that's fine. The main thing is that you're comfortable. Nancy, if it's helpful for you to put on that yoga pata across the sacrum, that's very helpful for people who've had some chronic lower back pain, where we put the belt right at the center of the knee, hook it up to the back of the sacrum. So adjust yourselves well. It's really important to be comfortable. You know, as you sit and as you come to sit for prolonged periods of time, ideally, there's no struggle in sitting. So take every measure you need to take to be comfortable. Adjust the shoulder blades flat on the back, and we'll work with some of the actions of locking in the thoracic, because that's what's helpful to prevent or to diminish neck and shoulder issues. And just sense that you're being called into the timelessness of now. Sense yourself awakening, relating to conditions. What I mean by conditions is sounds and thoughts and mind states as they arise in the mind, bodily sensations. See if you can relate to them with wisdom, the sense of timelessness, and with a sense of spaciousness. Sense that you're a container able to hold everything. Aware of conditions, but not being gripped by them. See if you can cultivate a present to moment attentiveness. And as mind states, as I've said, and emotions come up, just sense you're bowing to them. That quality of bowing, the word itself basically connotes a sense of not attaching to, not pushing away, accepting everything, bow to them, seeing everything as a gift. And then if you'd like, you can repeat the Bodhisattva, the Dalai Lama's vow, or perhaps a personal vow of your own. May I be a boat, a raft, a bridge for all beings to cross the flood. May I be a resting place for the weary. May I be medicine for all who are sick. May I be a lamp in the darkness for those who are lost. May I do so as long as earth and sky and galaxies exist, until all beings are enlightened. I vow to be here to serve them all. And then when you're ready, if your eyes were closed, you can open your eyes gently. Let's take in the room for a moment. And then stretch out your legs. So welcome. Hi, Julia. Hi, Janet. So as I said, we're doing a little work on neck and shoulders. Val had requested it last Friday, so I wanted to put something together. Personally, when I think of neck and shoulders in the Iyengar system, I think of Vajrahastasana with the arm at the wall, because one has to do that kind of work before really taking the arms overhead. And I think of the seated twist, Bharadvajasana 1 and 2. Okay, so we'll work on them early on in the sequence. So now what I'll have you do, and we did this last weekend on Tuesday, is do lying flat on your back, quasi Jethra Parvatasana, and then we'll do some Feldenkrais work for the shoulder. All right, so this one you all know. And then those of you coming in, you can have, if you are getting up, you can get a dowel and a chair. All right, so this one you all know for the groins, the antidote for sitting for hours. Have the feet hip width apart. That's really good for the sacrum and the lower back, not the feet together. So many of you enjoyed this sequence on Tuesday, and it's changed just a little bit. That's it. Ellen, go back and forth. Go slowly, no rush. That's it. Side to side. The knees come to the floor, so be it. They need not come to the floor. Good. Arms are out to the side. You can turn the palms up. The skin of that biceps is turning from the inside out. And then I'll show you from a different vantage point from what I showed you on Tuesday, the Feldenkrais. So Feldenkrais was it's basically a theory of movement developed by an Israeli man named Moshe Feldenkrais, early, I think 1900s or so, maybe not early 50s. Okay. All right. This helps many people with shoulder, neck issues. So when you're ready, after you've done back and forth a few times, sensing very lyrical, you can just watch. Many of you know this move, so I think I'll show you from this vantage point. So I'm placing my legs, it doesn't matter which side, to the right. They're at a right angle, the lower leg to the upper leg. So you can see the upper leg is basically a right angle to my chest. And then you can start with the top arm sliding over the bottom arm, and then watch. I keep this top arm, it's tracing a line on the floor. Okay, let me get back a little bit so you can see this more clearly. So I'm tracing a line. You see that I'm keeping this left arm slightly bent as I bring the chest parallel to the ceiling, and then I start again. So again, it's a very gentle, easeful, lyrical movement, sliding the top arm beyond the bottom arm, and then with the slightly bent top arm, opening the chest. Notice how the legs don't come up. Keep the legs achala in their place. We'll do about 8 to the right, 8 to the left. You'll find this really, so you're taking the arm out to the side, to either right or left, and then you're tracing like a rainbow over your head. Keep that, good Julia, keep the top arm slightly bent and go back and forth, perhaps on the 8th time, getting the chest parallel to the ceiling that you're facing. That's it, Rahel. Go slowly. These movements are meant to be done slowly. And if you've ever gone to a Feldenkrais class, it's like you're moving in, we have to get used to it. I remember the first time I went to Feldenkrais classes, we're moving at a glacial speed. Yeah, you don't even have to bring it down by your side. You're just going out and then overhead and then back and retrace. That's it. And then when you've done about 8 times to the right or left, then obviously change the leg side. And know that you can do this throughout the day. But the top arm is slightly bent. So the legs are really in their place. It's very similar to revolved triangle, where the legs are immobile, but the trunk is turning. Trunk is turning. Okay. And then you'll do about 8 times, good Lubna, to the other side. Go slowly, no rush. Neck moves at a slightly, the head, I should say, moves at a slightly slower pace than the arm going overhead. So you're not cranking the neck. Keep the top arm tummy up, slightly bent. Yes, especially if you have less mobility in your armpits. See that you have space overhead to trace that semicircle. That's it. Good, Lubna. Yes. And then when you end up, Lubna, where you are now at the apex of the pose where the chest is parallel, you can feel how that armpit chest is full. Yes, that's it, Rahel. When you end up with the chest parallel, you're getting that full openness of the armpit chest. One experiences in seated twists and standing twists. That's why twists are really wonderful for the neck and shoulders. Okay. Now, when you're done, I'm going to do this in the chair. You can do it seated on a bolster. You can sit in Vajrasana. We'll sit in Virasana down the road. But I want to show it to you a little bit differently than I showed it on Tuesday. So I'm putting the dowel, and Tom, this is the thing with the dowel, especially if there's any limited mobility in the armpit chest, the dowel has to be probably at least 4 to 5 feet. Okay, so I'm putting the dowel, you can see, right at basically T10, right at the top of the shoulder blades. And I'm just to make my life easy to see, I'm just sitting upright. I have my palms up because I want to encourage the biceps to turn from the inside out. Okay, so here it is from the back, and here it is from the front. And those of you who are fortunate to be here on Tuesday, when Mary Beth showed, I want you to pay attention to right here, the skin. The skin at the outer sides of the chest should feel like it's being cinched in. When we lose that cinching in, that's when all things fall apart for the neck and the shoulders. Good, Nancy. Yeah, let the elbows, don't take the elbows too far back. The reason being, if you take the elbows too far back, the biceps can turn. So many of you have been in my classes where I'm standing in front of you and I'm turning. Good. And then Elaine and others can kind of do like a walk around and show me from the back, the front, and the side would be wonderful. Yeah, I'd like to see you from all angles. Cinch in the skin. Remember, those of you who are mobile in your lower spine, abdomen should go back. Janet, that's good. Sitting in a chair is fine. Cinch in that skin. So imagine I'm standing behind you and I have my index finger, middle finger, and forefinger on the outer skin of the sides of the chest. Good, Val. Cinching in. Now, you don't want to lose that, throughout the day. And this is what's really important. As you know, as we get older, the back tends to round. We have to cinch that skin in. I think you all know what I mean because we've talked about this. Lock in the thoracic. Okay, that's good, Alan. That's a big broom. All right, now release if you're standing, just release the broom or the stick or whatever you have and just cinch in on your own. Have that memory. Mary Beth put her thumbs there. She showed you that on Tuesday. If you need to do that or want to do that, do that. So it should feel like, and this is not a subtle thing really. Well, not that subtle. The skin right here should cinch in like a ribbon, cinch into the midline. Lock in the thoracic. I'm just saying it different ways because things speak to people. That's good, Yokiko, differently. Cinch in that skin. Okay, now we're all going to sit in Dandasana, especially those of you who have been cross-legged in this. Stretch out your legs. And then take a quick Upavishta Konasana for the knees. As many of you cinched in the skin and cross-legged. And open the backs of the knees. All right, so as I said, I don't think anyone will need a chair for Bharadvajasana 1, but if I see that's true, then I'll show it. Open the backs of the knees. Keep the feet perpendicular and really open up those heel hinges to spread the soles of the feet. But when you spread the feet, try not to clench the toes. That's really challenging. All right. And now bring the legs back up. Actually do this because this will help us do Warrior 2 in a chair. So take it. We've done this many times. This is also I'm just going to say this. So for some of you who have had trouble doing Baddha Konasana, this way, taking one leg in Upavishta Konasana, Tom, and one leg in Upavishta Konasana, one leg in Baddha Konasana, one leg in Upavishta Konasana is really helpful. And you'll see the similarities when we do Warrior 2 on the chair. Make sure that the sole of the right foot is facing the left wall. So we're doing one leg, Ellen, in Baddha Konasana, one leg in Upavishta Konasana. Tom, try it without the wall and without height. Can I just see it and face? If you can try it not at the wall, but face me, because then I'd be better able to look at it. All right, and then change sides. So you can face me so I can see the angle. And then take your left leg into Baddha Konasana. Now, if your knee is up, everyone, if your left knee is up, then lean in. Remember that. Lean to the left, Tom. Lean to the left. This will prepare for Bharadvajasana 2. right? So one, good, Nancy, one leg is in Baddha Konasana. Oh, I'm really glad. So here's the thing. Look, my left knee is up, but if I just lean in, how simple is that? Then the knee comes down. And that's a principle for Bharadvajasana too. Okay, now what I'm going to do is something that Gita had called the hip shuffle. So watch, we're going to take our legs in Dandasana. Those of you who were with me on Tuesday, we did this. Feet, I like to do feet hip width apart in Dandasana because it's easier on the back and it also helps to open the backs of the knees. Now I'm going to show this frontally and in profile. So look, again, I have to lean to my right. I'm taking my left leg in Virasana and I'm aiming, no makes mistake, I'm aiming to get the hips level, but because I'm coming in and out, I'm not going to shuffle in a blanket. So I go in, out, one leg in Virasana. I aim to get the hips level, but I'm not staying long, okay? So I'd like you all to do that. One leg Virasana, see if you can be aware of the foot. So Nance, just see if you can get the thigh parallel, so you're not letting the thigh splay out too much, which means, Nancy, you have to really focus on making the foot points. Julia, that's good, with your hand on the foot. That really helps. So the foot, you'll find that if you put your hand on the metatarsal, that will help you arrange. Sometimes it's like just the smallest thing. So watch. I'm leaning to the right, but I have my left hand, look, and that helps me adjust my foot, which helps me be on my shin. Go back and forth and lubricate your hips in this hip shuffle, in and out. That's it, Tom. Just lean in, back and forth. So you should be getting a feeling that the hips are being lubricated. One leg is in Virasana, one leg is in Dandasana. Okay. All right, now stretch out your legs when you're ready. That's not a common thing that we teach, but Gita did teach that. Open up the backs of the knees. Now, we're going to do Bharadvajasana 1. And this is a very important pose. That's why I'm going to take time to explain it. It's one of the most important seated twists that we learn. Can be done in a chair, which I explained on Tuesday. So we're going to turn to the right, but I want to just show you this. I'll show you frontally and from the side. So basically what you just did, I'm holding the left foot and my left foot is in Virasana, and then the top of the left foot will be in the arch of my right. Now, do you see how my hips are imbalanced? Now, I will want you to use a blanket underneath your buttock bones, not underneath the thighs. Because if you have it too much underneath your right thigh, then your thigh will lift up. And then notice additionally, I'm letting the thighs go out a little bit, what I call decentralization, not what I call it, what's called decentralization. And that will help the outer left Virasana thigh descent. So these are Bharadvajasana legs. The legs are swung out to the left, good Elaine. Hips are balanced, aided with blanket or not. Good Elaine. All right, lift the side ribs up. Now, outstretch your arms. Now, have the memory of that dowel, that broomstick, whatever you use. Turn the palms up. Have the memory of the cinching in. I'm standing behind you, and I'm cinching in your skin. Cinching in the skin. All right, now, just with your movement of the arms, back and forth, swinging your arms wholeheartedly. Don't let the shoulders come up. So the trapezius skin moves down and then the thoracic is locked in. And now on your next exhalation, turn to the right. Those who can catch the right hand on your outer left thigh. Nancy, good. Your left shoulder is in line over your left hip. You're not leaning to the right. This outer left hip is aligned with that left armpit. And again, take the arms out to the side. Swing, swing, swing. And then when you feel ready, exhale, turn. Watch that left shoulder. It wants to lift up to the left ear. Now find out in turning to the right, what's happening with the left biceps. Keep turning that left biceps from the inside out. For some of you, it might help for you to turn your palm up of your left hand, that's right. Okay, now come back to center and give a good stretch to the legs in Dandasana. And then obviously we're going to do Bharadvajasana 1. with the legs to the right, which means we're going to turn to the left. So go slowly, because I really want you to make sure you understand these poses. So now the right leg goes back, I'm holding the foot, and now the right foot will be in the arch of the left. And then you might find that you need less height on this side, or the same height, or maybe more height. Place the height underneath the buttock bone so the hips are balanced. All right, now again, reach out. Have the memory of the dowel memory, cinching in skin, and then swing your arms. Don't let the shoulders lift up. Keep the trapezius moving down to the waist. Lock in that thoracic. And then when you feel you have momentum, exhale, turn to the left. Turn to the left. Good, Val. Yes. And now as you turn to the left, find out, right? Once you've made a movement, find out, did that outer right thigh lift up? Seal it down. And are you still turning the right upper arm from the inside out? So you can see how Bharadvajasana 1, but also 2 is really helpful for shoulders and neck. All right, now stretch out your legs. Well done. All right, now Bharadvajasana is a little bit more challenging, only because one leg is in Virasana and the other, like Bharadvajasana 1, but the other leg is in Padmasana. So I'm just going to show you this. So I start with the legs straight to open up the backs of the knees. Again, I'm going to do the left. I'm going to turn to the right first. So watch. Yet again, left leg is in Virasana. Now I'll show from frontally. I keep the knee down. Remember what I said about Baddha Konasana, how I leaned in? Then I hold the foot from underneath and I aim to get the right foot into the left groin. If you cannot get your right foot into the left groin, don't worry, just place it on the floor, okay? So left leg comes into Virasana. If anyone's knees bother them, I will tell you, you can do Parsva Dandasana when we're doing Bharadvajasana 2. So here we go. Left leg Virasana. Lean to the right. Good, Elaine. Hold the foot. See how much I'm leaning in. Good, Luna. And then that's it. So many of you are able to do this quite well. Nancy, that's good. You can hold the foot. Yes. Now, what's going to happen, Nancy, when you're not holding the foot, if the foot drops to the floor, because we're going to take our arms out to the side, that's fine. Now, like Bharadvajasana 1, take the arms out to the side, cinch that skin in. So when I really want you to get this action of locking in the thoracic, cinch the skin in. I wore white today to show that. Cinch the skin in, and then again, wholeheartedly turn to the right. Bharadvajasana 2. Bharadvajasana 2. Swing your arms, helps you get momentum, and turn. Remember, as you turn to the right, keep turning the left arm biceps from the inside out.
Can I put a blanket under my right buttocks?
Yes, yeah, yes, absolutely. And it should be more, the idea with the blanket, Janet, is more underneath the ischial tuberosity than the backs of the thighs, because if the foot, keep the knee low, Rahel, when you take that leg up, yeah. All right, these look good. Now stretch out your legs. You have a good, because of the knee flexion, we're being mindful of coming into extension. That was good, Tom. All right, now we're going to do Bharadvajasana 2. You can say it in your head or out loud. And now take your right leg into Virasana and then lean in. See, the knee stays down. I hold the foot and aim well. And then, of course, Janet, to your point, then the blanket could be necessary underneath the buttock bone, not underneath the thighs. Okay, and then stretch out your arms. Good. So everyone's doing well with these. Stretch out your arms. Cinch in that skin. Cinch in that skin. And now with movement, don't let the shoulders come up to the ears. Sharp turn to the left. And turn that right arm from the inside out, that right upper arm. The Bharadvajasana 1 and 2 are really important seated twists. Good, Ellen. Now everyone give a good stretch to the legs, and we're going to move on. Now I will say, just as an aside, if anyone was having issues with Bharadvajasana 1 or 2, it can be done in the chair, which I hopefully you all know, in the chair, in which you can use this backrest here, this rung to turn, or it can be done sideways. Okay, now the other thing is if one is having a lot of issues with the Virasana leg and the Padmasana leg, just to again ignite your memory, then one can always do with straight legs, because naturally if one's knees hurts, then the first line of defense is just straighten out the legs. So now I'm doing Parsvadandasana, which is one of my favorite poses. Okay, Parsvadandasana. All right, so is that clear, Tom? I hope everybody crystal clear. So I'm just making a slight detour because there might be a time, and I love to say, when your knees hurt. All right, stretch out your legs with the Vishnu Konasana again. Go a little wider. You know, I have to say, I just laughed into myself because I remember when teachers used to give modifications, and I always thought, there's going to come a day when I'm going to need that, so I better pay attention, right? It was like that for me. I said, oh, chances are my knees are going to ache someday. Better pay attention, right? All right. Because sometimes our mind doesn't go, our mind shuts down when it doesn't pertain to us. Do you know what I mean? Our mind, you know, oh, this doesn't, you know, I don't belong in that group, so I'm not going to pay attention. But I want to, you know, train your thinking like this could happen, right? Of course, that's a very Buddhist, what do you call it? Philosophy, all right? Anything can happen. And then lift up. You are not exempt. Press the legs down. And now, for those of you who can stretch the arms up, I just had a flu shot and blood test. I'm not going to do that. Others of you can just take the arms out to the side. So now, this is harder, moving along, because what happens when the arms are up? The trapezius ascends, right? That's it, Nancy. The back tends to round. So now with the arms being up, good, Rahel, cinch in that skin. But good, Janet, keep the arms out to the side and get that cinching in. In fact, everyone take the arms out to the side, cinch in, trapezius moving down, neck long, neck long. Now turn the palms up, maintain those actions. And then for those of you who is it suitable, take the arms up, then do. But cinch in that thoracic. Good, Julia. Make the armpits long. Armpits long. Now, in taking the arms overhead, what happened to the legs? Keep pressing the legs down. All right, now stretch out your legs, and we're going to a wall to do Parsvahastasana. Again, wonderful work to do with neck and shoulders, for the neck and the shoulders. So you'll need a wall. And this is the one, you all know this, where you're standing sideways to the wall. Let me just get here. I just have and we're going to do the 3 hand positions where the fingers are up, the fingers are out to the side, and the fingers are down. Okay, so let me just show rather quickly. I have my hand in line with my shoulder. So what I saw on Tuesday was people's hands were higher than their shoulder or much lower. So the hand is in line with the shoulder, but even more importantly, the arm starts out slightly bent. There's a little bend of my elbow. And then you use that bent arm, and I'm using my left hand to turn the skin. Turn the upper biceps, lower deltoid, and then I straighten the arm. And I want you to observe the shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade. We're doing the right arm first on the back. Now that's good. You can have the feet hip width apart. Good. Yeah. Start with bent arm. The reason we start with bent arm is to turn the skin. Then push. Tom, go a little bit lower with the arm. I think it looked, yeah. So the hand is not higher than the shoulder. Good, Ellen. Turn the skin, straighten the arm, and now find out in straightening the arm, don't let the left shoulder or the right shoulder lift up. Observe, make your right shoulder blade flat on the back. But that's it, Rahel. Take your left hand. Many of you did this on Tuesday. You can put your left hand, as some of you did this, as I'm doing now. Left hand, if it's possible, because it's like the back arm and go and cuff it and cinch that skin in. We saw this on Tuesday, some of you did. All right, now release the arm. Release the arm, no need to shake it out. Okay, now we're taking the second hand position where the fingers are at the hand is at a 45-degree angle, turned back. Yeah, not yet down, but like dog pose when the hands are turned out. That's it. Julia, that's it. Keep the right shoulder descending away from the ear. Don't let Elaine, you can put the back arm, Rahel. Yes, Ellen, that's it. Keep turning the skin, then straighten the arm. And then observe in this hand position, how does the shoulder blade change its position on the back body? When you have the fingers up and now the fingers are out to the side, slightly different. It feels like that shoulder blade is moving out to the right side of your chest. Okay, now release the arm, well done. And now fingers are pointing in the direction of the floor. Go slowly. Start with slightly bent arm. And then fully straighten. Observe the shoulder blade, which feels quite differently in this position on the back. Nancy, that's good, really good. Again, Rahel, take the hand a smidge higher, I think. It looks a little bit too low. That's it. Ellen, watch the right shoulder because now it's really lifting up, at least from my vantage point. It might be the camera. Tom, I think the hand again is too high. Your arm is lower down, in line with the shoulder. That's it. Okay, and now release the arm and of course change sides. So these are helpful, those of you who have had some issues with neck and shoulders, Parsvahastasana series is really helpful to do once a week. Okay, again, start with the hand. That's it, Lubna. Slightly bent arm, turn the skin, and then fully outstretch, observe the shoulder blade. So just imagine you're looking from your back body, the left side of your shoulder blade. Fix the shoulder blade on your back. Fix the shoulder blade on your back. Again, you'll feel that cinching in. The neck should feel free. Feet can be apart, especially if you've had some chronic lower back. It's probably wise. Okay, now go into the palm facing outward. That's it. Remember not to have the hand higher than the shoulder nor forward of the shoulder, because if it's forward of the shoulder, you won't be able to turn the skin. If anything, it's either in line with, that's really good, Nancy, in line with the shoulder or slightly behind the shoulder. Okay, now final and last position, fingers pointing down. Now just be aware of that, I know that it's challenging in this position to keep the elbow from hyperextending. So lift the tricep skin up to the bone and the forearm away from the ceiling. Kiko, that's good. Turn the skin. That's it. Ellen, I think your hand can be a little bit higher on this side, a little bit. Yeah. Tom, that's it. Again, I really urge those of you, I know this may sound like I keep saying this, but the feet hip width apart is really helpful to avoid future back pain. Okay, now what you're going to do, having done Parsvahastasana, we didn't do this on Tuesday. Hopefully everyone has a wall. I'd like you to do Adho Mukha Svanasana with the hands slightly turned out, okay? Elaine, you can do it in Uttanasana with the hands on the wall, slightly turned out. So you get the skin turning. So dog pose with the hands can be done with blocks, Tom. So just set your blocks at the wall. So the hand, you're doing dog pose the way we first learned dog pose many years ago with the hands at the wall. Yes. Good, Elaine. Turn the palms out a little more, Elaine. Why do we learn dog pose with the hands turned out? So we can turn the skin that we just worked on in Parsvahastasana. Blocks are fine, Lubna, Tom. You can do blocks underneath the hands. Good, Nancy. The hands can be also to the outer edges of the mat. If your armpits are tight, that's always a good thing. Good, Julia. Lift the forearms away from the floor. Keep turning the inner upper arms, all that work. Now find your shoulder blades flat on the back, Luna. Flat on the back. Make your armpits, good, Ellen. long. Good, good, good. Elaine, that's really good. Just stay there. Adho Mukha Svanasana with the hands turned out. Adho Mukha Svanasana with the hands turned out. Okay, now just try this. Come onto your knees. And you're going to do, Elaine, you can do Prasarita Padottanasana now with the hands turned out in front of you, concave stage only. Rahel, can I have you demonstrate with the fingers pointing backward, Adho Mukha Svanasana? Do you know what I mean? On the hands on the blocks? Okay, I'm gonna spotlight Rahel. Lubna, you know this one as well. So this one we don't practice as much, but I'd like to do it today because it makes sense in this sequence. Wait, Rahel, I'm gonna spotlight you in a second. Let me find Rahel. Elaine, you're gonna do Prasarita Padottanasana, my friend, with the concave back, okay? With the hands turned out. So Rahel, just get your screen so we can see your setup. Yes, so she's got the blocks at the wall. So remember the last position in Parsvastasana, we did fingers facing forward, then we just did dog pose with the fingers facing backward. Now we're doing it with the fingers pointing backward. So Rahel will, yes. Yeah. Now Rahel, have more of your finger actually on the block if you can. Yes. Okay. Remember this, Lubna? All right. The hands can also, for those of you tighter shoulders, can be, see how Rahel actually has placed her blocks a little bit out of the central line. All right, that's it. And then step back a little bit, Rahel, to get the length of the spine. Yes. And now take the shoulder blades flat on the back and move, that's it, onto the back body. So this is that very last position of the hands that we did. And Elaine, you can get all these hand positions in Prasarita Padottanasana. Okay, thanks, Rahel. I'm gonna unspotlight you. I'll get you all back onto the gallery. Okay, move spotlight. Rahel, if you want, you can go through to having just done that. You can go through fingers pointing forward, out to the side and facing backward. Okay, if you've had enough with the fingers. Yeah. Okay, I think that makes sense. I'm just gonna get everyone back on view. All right, so everyone, let's see Elaine. Let's see how you're doing with that, Elaine. All right, so Tom, yeah. Lubna, this is good. You know this one. Yeah. Now the other, Lubna, you have yours slightly angled, and I think that helps a lot too. Your blocks are kind of angled at the wall, and we'll speak about that next week. Julia, be careful, not Julia, Yukiko, be careful with the foam blocks because I've seen people, they slide and then they get an injury in their shoulder. So just be careful, just make sure, no, do it, Yukiko, but I just want you to press your hands. I'm always leery of sponge blocks on an angle. Lubna, that's good, it works for you really well. And then I would say, Rahel, also, we could talk about this on the other side, but having the blocks angular at the wall can really help. Yeah. I won't spot, can everyone understand what I mean by this? Just put your blocks, I wanna just try this now versus wait, and then I can forget next week. Put your blocks, guys, like this, angular, and then the fingers are pointing down. Elaine, let me see your pose now. So do it, yeah, Lubna, you had it that way. Rahel, yeah, Rahel, now make an observation. So to me, this looks like Rahel, when I just saw your pose in this pose, now the shoulder blades are much flatter on your back. That's good. Elaine, fingers facing forward, outward, and backward, Elaine. Okay, that's it. Julia, that's it. So those of you who did it with the fingers as I had Rahel do it, this probably feels very different with the blocks angular. It gets that cinching in quality of the thoracic spine. Okay, and now when you're ready, come down, just take a rest with the arms out to the side, child's pose. Elaine, you'll join us in a second. We're gonna do Utkatasana. All right. Rest there. Have the arms out to the side, decentralize. Remember, you're in child's pose. You don't always have to do child's pose with the arms overhead. That's it. Good. All right. Now, this is what we're going to do. Let's just, before we do Utkatasana, Elaine, you can start with the jumping of Utkatasana. I want you to take dog pose classically, fingers facing forward, stay 30 seconds. Then with the palms, you don't have to do that at the wall, with the palms face turned at a 45-degree angle. And then with the fingers pointing backward. So it's the 3 hand positions that we did in Parsvahastasana. So don't stay long, 30 seconds tops, 15. So freestanding, the hands need not be at the wall. That's it out. Elaine, that's good. All right, take it that way. Hands, yes, can be on blocks, freestanding. Now with palms turning outward, Lubna, just take it. So you know the 3 different hand positions of Adho Mukha Svanasana. You sometimes forget about these. That's it. And then try the one with the fingers pointing backward with blocks or not. It'll be harder for many of you with the hands not on blocks, good Val, and not angular. But this is getting all those positions that we felt the shoulder blade, right? In Parsvahastasana. Well done. Okay, now we're going to come up and we're going to use Utkatasana as a preparation for the warrior poses with a chair today. So I know it's easier for most people to take their arms up in Utkatasana because it gets the trunk upright, but can I just remove the arms? Because again, when one is dealing with shoulders and necks, the last thing we do is take the arms overhead. So I want you to put your hands on the roots of the thighs and then with motion, sit down. Aiming, see I'm coming in and out with movement, aiming to get the thighs parallel to the floor. But I don't want you to take the arms up today. Again, why? Because if you were really experiencing neck and shoulders, that's a moving along action when the arms are overhead. You can show me in profile, would be wonderful. All right, Utkatasana with your hands, good Nancy. Now see if you can get the chest more perpendicular. Good Val, sit down, go down. Janet, see if you can get the chest more perpendicular. Try looking outward, everyone, versus down at the floor. It really can help. All right, now go. 6 times. Go down. Aim to get on that 6th guide. Lubna, see if you can get the chest more upright versus parallel to the floor. I know it's challenging. I know it's a lot of work for your thighs, but this will help us not develop sarcopenia. Keep going down. Keep going down. This is a tapas. Keep going down. Elaine, that's it. So Tom, keep the arms down on your hips. No arms up. I want the chest upright. Good, Val. Now the chest is upright. Good. Keep going down. Imagine a chair behind you, Julia. That chair was behind you, and you're going to sit down. Sit down. Sit down. That's it. Okay. Now you're going to take your chair. We did this on Tuesday, and everyone was very surprised to see this pose done on a chair. All right, some of the taller people might need a blanket on the chair. So watch, Virabhadrasana 2 on a chair, pose that you all know and love, right? So, and this actually is interesting to do it on a chair because it shows all disparities in the groin, right? So I have the right knee over the ankle. Taller people will need a blanket on the seat of the chair. Now this leg is straight. Don't let it bend, okay? So now we're in warrior 2. That's it, Val. Press the root of the thigh back. If there's any restriction in the groin, the right groin, do you see how my chest is going to face the right leg? And now spread your wings. Nancy, see if you can straighten that left leg. So the good thing about doing the Virabhadrasana 2 in the chair, Rahel, be mindful of the hips. See if you can straighten that back leg. Straighten that back leg. Bring weight to the baby toe side of the left leg. So
Ronnie, I can't see your left foot. Is it flat on the?
It's flat on the floor. I mean, yes, it's flat on the floor. Can you see it now, Nance? It's flat. The arch of my left foot is lifting away, and I bring weight to the left baby toe. The right knee is over the ankle. Make your chest stand in the middle. Stay, just like Utkatasana. Good, Janet. Good, Yukiko. Get those shoulder blades flat on the back. Turn the palms up. Again, now you're viewing your back body, cinch in here, cinch in here. No one's trapezius is lifting up to their ears. Now just enjoy this. It's not to say that it's easy, but it's more easeful when you're in a chair. You don't have to use as much effort. You also get to see how the left leg bends a lot, how the right knee rolls in, how if there's restriction in the right groin, the chest is beginning to face the right leg. And now when you're ready, change sides. Okay. So there's a lot to be gleaned from doing the warrior, where you're doing warrior 2 and warrior 1 in the chair. So get situated, adjust the left leg. Nancy, I don't know if you can see it now. Can you see that better? Nancy? So this is what's common. The back leg is bent. It's common in freestanding, but now, and the chest is going like this. I want you to remember Bharat Vajrasan chest. Good, Rahel. Bharat Vajrasan chest, where the left armpit was over the left hip. Now reach out. Julia, that's really good. Chest is in the middle. Beautiful. Chest is in the middle. Chest is in the middle. I know, Ellen, it's hard to do on that chair. Now watch, Ellen, because your chest is going slightly forward toward the left side. So keep the left armpit in line with the other way. Keep the left, yes, the left armpit in line with the left hip. Good, Janet. Now just straighten out your back leg, everyone, right above the knee. Press it right above the knee where it wants to bend, press it back. Good, Julia. All right, well done. Now slowly and mindfully come out. All right, now we're gonna do warrior 1 in the chair. Watch, I'll show from the side, from the front and then the side. So this is a different orientation, warrior 1, because the chest is facing the right leg. All right, let me show from the side. Nancy, you can be on the ball of the back foot. I'm wearing a sneaker. I want the back leg will want to bend. I have to bring my presence of mind to turn the back leg from the inside. Now watch carefully, everyone. I'm going to place my palms flat on the backrest of the chair. Why? To get that cinching in of the shoulder blades. This is really important when we come to do a chair back bend. I cinch in the skin. This is the coiling in stage. Then I reach through my arms. And then if all is well in the world, for those, Janet, you don't have to take the arms overhead, but then some of you might be able to. Otherwise, arms can be out to the side. Of course, again, if you had neck and shoulder issues, you would keep the arms out to the side. Watch the knee. Turn the inner knee to the outer knee. Elaine, I think the foot is slightly forward. Bring the heel, yeah, it's true for the foot. Bring it back. Yeah, that's it. Okay, now come on, I want to see the coiling action. This is the key. You know, if you could show, so I'm going to face this way. Hopefully you can see the wrinkles in my white tee. There should be wrinkles here. Well, you know, this cloth should be moving into the midline. The skin should be moving into the midline. Now spread your wings. Spread your wings. Turn, good, Nancy. Now lift the back, yeah, back leg straight, be on the ball of the foot. Turn the palms up. Trapezius moving down. Now those of you who have no neck and shoulder issues, then of course you can take the arms overhead and indeed look up. Charge the back leg. Charge the back leg. Yukiko, see if you can turn the back thigh more from the inside out. Good, Ellen. And out you come. So one of the things you can see that when you work with the chair in the warrior poses, warrior 2, also warrior 3, but we're not doing warrior 3, that you can work on the tendency of the poses with great zeal, because it's easier to stay in the pose on the chair. Okay, warrior 1, other side, start with the hands on the backrest to coil in. So you're getting the clarification.
I think this is much harder. And I think it's much harder because you cannot, it's like you really see where you are stuck.
Well, okay, so using, my bad for using easier or harder. One of the things when we deal with easier and hard depends on if this is new to you, Rahel, so that's a valid point that you're making. But to your point, one of the things, the great thing about using the chair is that it really highlights the disparities, if there's restriction in the groin, right? If, for example, in this one, Rahel, it's so much, to your point, it's much easier to have the leg bent than when you're pressing the foot into the floor when it's freestanding. So it makes you tweak those tendencies more. So I agree with you, especially if you don't practice it in a chair. Okay, so this is why we like to do, as you said, Rahel, on Tuesday, we do the poses in different ways, to highlight something. Now you're in the chair seat, coil in, cinch that skin in, cinch in, really hold the backrest of the chair. Good. This will help the next pose. Then extend your arms. So as you can see, where it's a symphony. We've done all this in different, same actions, but in different poses. And then, if appropriate, take the arms up and even look up. Charge the back leg. Warrior one. Elaine, I'll be picky, just a smidge right above the knee in the back leg. I know it's hard work to keep the back leg straight. Tom, the same thing. Tom, I think the blanket is too much. It's too thick. And that's what's causing the issue. All right, now take your chair and we're going to use the same actions that we've done for like an hour now for up dog. We can do up dog with the chair and then come down, right? So you can put your chair, you can have blocks ready to go to. So this is my very favorite way to do up dog because the height of the chair seat makes it easier to get the chest upright. As you all know, when you do up dog, be it on blocks or from the floor up, it's hard to get the chest upright. So I'm gonna hold the seat of the chair, and then the first three, I'll come onto the balls of the feet like you did. It's the back leg. Now both legs are like warrior one. Chest is upright like warrior one and two in Utkatasana. And then I'll do two more that way, and then I'll come onto the tops of the feet. Okay, let's see. What a wonderful way to do a back bend with the chair or the Muga. But keep the legs straight. Turn the thighs. So now enjoy. Janet, see if you can bring the pelvis and the roots of the thighs much closer to the seat of the chair. Then you'll stand half a chance of getting your chest upright. Do three perhaps on the balls of the feet, and good, Julia. 3 on the tops of the feet. Watch the trapezius though, Yokiko. Keep those keep the trapezius moving down. Cinch in, good Val. Cinch in that skin. So it should be very clarified. Tom, try not to lean to the wall. Go up, press down to go up. It's more vertical than leaning to the wall. I actually think for you, 2 chairs with the seats facing each other would be helpful. That's it, Rahel. Now, if that's coming well, Elaine and others, take the chair away. So Elena, you're shaking out your hands, but you could have held the seat chair this way, my friend, and avoided that. Okay? All right. Now, 2 blocks. Remember what Rahel did with 2 blocks? You're doing up dog with the body against the wall, Nancy. That's good. Hands on blocks. So now we're going lower down, closer to the floor. It's going to be harder to bring the chest. Okay, let's see. You can do it from down dog. Julia, that's it. Onto the tops of the feet now. Lubna, yes. Now slide in, Lubna. See if you can bring the roots of the thighs closer to the frontal edge of the block. Now you can do it freestanding that way, but sometimes it's interesting to have the chest facing the wall and anterior chest facing because that gives you proprioception. Good, Rahel. Now turn the arms, Rahel, from the inside out, shoulders away from the ears, and get those shoulder blades flat. Do you see how all this work, you've heard me say the same things. Palms can be turned out. Blocks can be on medium side. Yeah, Nancy, you can have the blocks against the gray wall to get the chest parallel. Tom, try it now without the chair. Without the chair. I know it's a little bit more challenging, but see what you can do. I really want to urge you to do some back bending every week. Move the buttock flesh to the backs of the knees. Okay. All right. And Elaine, you know that you don't need to come into up dog from down dog. You can just come into it prone on your belly and push up into it. All right. Now, Ellen, you can still do this with a non-yoga chair. I'm going to have you do the chair back bend that we've been working on. All right, so watch, you all know this, and again, can do freestanding, but most of you will prefer to do it at the wall because you have something to push your feet into. Now, if you're shorter people will need blocks underneath their feet. I don't think anyone in this room needs the blocks underneath their feet. All right, so watch. So here's the coiling in aspect. My hands are once again on the back rest. I cinch that skin in, cinch it in. And then I recline backward and I get length. My hands are now at the joint, the chair anatomy, the joint of the chair. Then I take the shoulder blades toward the head side. I extend one leg so the feet are up against the wall, and I use my legs strongly pressing into the wall to roll the thighs and press the thighs down. And then I can take the hand to the lower rungs of the chair or perhaps even underneath. And then to come up, you bend the legs, you hold the sides of the chair, lead with your chest, and up you come. You don't have to stay long. You may be able to do 2 or 3. So I think everyone will be able to do. Those of you who are using height on the chair, be it a mat and a blanket, that's fine. Ellen, fine to do it that way. Good, Julia. Coil in. Lubna, I think a little more of Lubna has to come off the chair, just a smidge more. Janet, good. Some of you can, if you have armpits that are tight and thoracic restricted, start holding on the outside of the chair. Let's see, Lubna. All right. You don't have to go underneath the chair. The other possibility, Ellen, is to do some Ustrasans or go back to up dog. Nancy, if anyone gets dizzy or indigestion, please come up. Don't stay long. Good, Val.
I don't have the mobility in my abdomen yet to,
Yeah, to do that kind of stretching on your abdomen.
yeah.
So Ellen, we're gonna do the Supta cycle. So you might just take Dvipada now. Yeah, it's too much for the abdomen, I agree. Nancy, that's good, just touch go. It's not uncommon to be, if you don't have a regular practice of chair back bends, arms can go overhead. Rahel, you're using the blocks for the feet, good. Okay. Nancy, that's it. Okay, and then press the feet down, Nancy, hold the side rungs of the chair, and inhale, up you come. All right, and then because we're on the chair, we might as well all do, the other possibility, Ellen, I was thinking was over, what can be more useful as you go further in time is doing a chair back bend with a physio ball, because it's much wider and it's less strain and it's also higher. So a ball you could lie over. That might be a moving along, say in 3 or 4 weeks. Do chair Bharadvajasana either in the chair on the sideways, the chair Bharadvajasana that I alluded to earlier, after the chair back bend. Yeah, Elaine's doing it, Ellen. She's on the ball now. But this could be, Ellen, I don't know if you can see Elaine, but on the screen I can, but basically she's on the ball. That would be my suggestion, Ellen, for the future. So eventually you could do that chair back bend, which it is extreme stretching of the abdominal muscles. Okay, now we're all going to come on our back, which will feel really nice. Take a belt. We're going to do Supta 1, 4, and then 2. 1, 4, and then 2. Not 1, 2, 4, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. But 1, 4, 2, which is the way in light on yoga. And then Julia and others, if you feel so inclined to do one-legged chair back bend, you can do after this, just to move yourself along. All right, so let's take it. Actually, everyone not that Viparita Dandasana is not symmetrical, it is, but just take Dvipada. Feel good on your back. So we'll Supta 1. So one of the things that, my intention here, just to state it loud and clear, Val, that my feeling about this is, I want everyone to be able to have some back bends in their practice, in a weekly practice. Urdhva Mukha, Utkatasana, chair back bend are really great. Okay? All right, now bend your right knee, keep the right knee in, stretch the right leg up to 1, put the belt on, All right, start with the side ribs even, hips balanced, and now begin to move the leg. You might notice that, after some back bending, the hamstrings can feel a little bit tighter, obviously, because back bend strengthens the hamstrings. So now the leg is just up yet, Tom, just Supta 1, just where the leg is 90 degrees and then some. That's it, Luca. Keep moving the leg. Now, those of you who perhaps might do another chair back bend with the leg up in the air in this manner, can do it with strap or without strap, a small loop for the foot. Many of you know what I mean, and if you don't worry about it. But now do 4, either figure 4, or you're placing now the right foot in the crook of the left elbow, and the right hand is holding the right big toe or the strap. That's it, Nancy, or hooking underneath. Good. If your neck bothers you in any way, then slide in a bolster and blanket for that setup. If you're raising your chest and head, I don't want anyone to cause pain on their neck. Good, Jen. Now, out to the side, 2. 1, 4, 2. The way it is on Light on Yoga, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. And those of you doing 4 in the way you need to do for that right side. Now go out to the side. Decentralize the left leg a little bit so the pelvis is balanced. Good. Remember to open up that right groin, keeping the right foot parallel to the floor. Right foot, as Julia and Janet have the foot on the wall, that's fine. And then that looks good. Okay, take the leg up. All right, now 1, 4, 2, other side. Take Dvipada for symmetry. Knees into chest. Good. Flex the feet. Open up that heel hinge. And then left knee in. Belt. And left leg up. Supta 1. Good. Supta 1. Remember, those of you who are going to go back, if you're going back to the chair back bend, I'll give you choices here. Remember how the leg will want to move to the back rest. So your job now, Luna and others, should you take on the mission of the chair back bend, you've got to move the leg. Imagine you're still in the chair and you're moving the leg. So the back of your left thigh is not going to rest, good Rahel, on the backrest of the chair. You all, Julia, know what I mean by that. Kiko, same thing. That's it. Okay, now 4 to the left. Choose a way on the left side, be it figure 4 or hooking underneath as you did on the other side there, Nance, or use the strap or hold the big toe. If your left side is tighter, like you're doing, Elaine, foot at the wall can help. Often in Supta 4, the 2 sides generally are quite different. So pick a method in which helps your left hips. That's it, Ellen. Good, Rahel. I'm glad to see these. Many of you doing a figure 4 with right foot at wall, which is good. Okay, now I stay a little longer. If you're raising the chest and raising the head in the final pose, that's fine, but just, I don't want anyone to have any pain in their neck. Insert the bolster and blanket. Now, when you're ready, do 2 out to the side, but first decentralize the right leg. Ellen, you'll be able to do Chatuspadasana with the feet on the upholstered chair, I think. Okay, out to the side, Tom, Supta 2, leg is out to the side. You're still on your back, and the leg is out to the side. Okay. All right. Now you'll see, why did we do Supta 1, 4, and 2? Because some of you are indeed going to go back to the chair, right? And we'll start with kind of this 4 position, and then we'll wind up in 1 position. So don't worry, anyone, if you're not gonna do the pose that I'm about to demonstrate, we have plans for you, okay? Watch. So I'm just gonna show it. You can do it at the wall, the way you did the first few groups on us. So watch. I'm going back in my chair. My right leg's through the chair, doesn't matter which leg. So now you see soup to 4, see? This is soup to 4, only I'm upright. That's for my external lateral rotators. Okay, then I go back in. I have the memory of what I just did. I extend the leg, and then I take the leg up. But here's the thing, as many of you know, this leg wants to rest on the backrest. Julia, everybody, I want you to move the leg. Now, Julia and everyone else knows that if you put a little loop around the ball of the foot and take the arms overhead, that will help you hoist the leg away from the backrest. So those of you who need the belt, use the belt. Okay, otherwise you can do, some of you can do what I just did. Others of you are not going back to the chair back then, don't worry. You're going to do, Ellen, you can do this with the feet on the chair. Everyone will use a blanket for their shoulders. So we're doing like a chair tratus. So see that your shoulders are your white shirt on white blanket. Now here's the key. The rungs have to be, I'm pulled in the chair. I want to be able to hold the front rungs. And then my toes are up, my heels are down, and I'm going to go up. I go down and up, all right, with movement. That's it, very good, Val. Okay, Julia, use the strap to take the leg with you. That's it. So you're either doing the chair back bend, Rahel, good. Or start with that first position, Yokiko, beautiful, with the leg turned out to the side, then the belt comes on. Then so the order of action is leg is turned out soup to 4, leg is up like soup to 1. Yeah, before the leg goes up, sorry, Yukiko, extend the other leg. Then the leg goes up. Really good, Val. Beautiful, Lubna. Now see if you can walk your hands overhead, Lubna, down to the tail. So aim the hands closer to the pink mat. Yes, Ellen, use your feet on the chair. And you can do it that way too, Ellen. You could do a one-legged tratus. Elaine, you can press the right foot, lift the back left leg up, like one-legged. If you need to come up, come up. I'm glad to see many of you are doing the chair back bend, but many of you are doing kind of that chair back bend in tratus. Change sides, Julia. Change sides, Val. Move no good. Let's see, Rahel, beautiful. So you're turning the foot out, then yes, then the leg extend and then stretch up. That's beautiful. Okay, these look great. Now, Julia, can you move that leg away from the backrest? I know it's a lot of work. Nancy, good. Now keep lifting and make the chest absolutely beautiful. Now your chest is upright. Beautiful. Now your chest is upright. Tom, you can do it with the feet on the chair, as Ellen did. All right. These look good. All right, now slowly, those of you in the chair back bend, follow me. Just simply bend the knees, pull the joint of the chair, press the feet, and lead with your chest, up you come. Okay, now we're going to do what oftentimes Patricia has taught us in back bends is to go near a wall. We're going back to that we never really did Baddha Konasana. We did part Baddha, part Upavishta Konasana. Some of you will need, Tom, you can try it this way. So you're taking the blanket in a narrow shape at the wall. And you're going to sit in Baddha Konasana at the wall with your buttocks on the blanket. Everyone can do this, but the thighs are not impeded by them. See, so I'm lifting up my thighs. There's no white blanket underneath, because if there was a white blanket underneath, it impedes the movement. So I use the narrow shape blanket at the wall and do Baddha Konasana after these back bends. It's a little counterintuitive, Baddha Konasana after back bends. The other thing you could do, for those of you who want, well, we have time. We might do Padmasana. Okay, that's it, Nancy. Put your blanket. So your soles of the feet are together now. Baddha Konasana. And the thighs are now, the outer thighs don't have the blanket, just the buttocks. Good. And then put your hands good on the floor and lift up. Press the feet strongly and widen the thighs away. In back bends, the legs are in adduction. So it might feel in Baddha Konasana, even though we did Supta 2 and 4, a little bit more challenging for your inner thighs. Good. Widen the thighs away. See if you can cinch in at those indents so the hips feel very compact. And now stretch out your legs, and then this is what we're going to do, because Padmasana is one of the best poses to do after back bends, but I know, having just looked at Bharadvajasana, that it can be tricky. So for some of you, watch again. So knee is low, foot is high, and then the other leg comes in. So this is possible to sit for many of you in Padmasana. But if this is not possible, full Padmasana, then please do what I alluded to in going in and out in Bharadvajasana 2. So I'm just leaning in and holding the foot and aiming well. Some of you will be able to do Padmasana. Now's the time to do it. Because this is Padmasana, the seat of Padmasana gets the inherent in Padmasana is that compactness of the hips, which feels really good after back bends. Janet, I was just going to say, beautiful. I'm so glad you remember that. So what Janet's doing is she has her legs at the wall. And remember, I've said many times that a way of doing Padmasana over getting to Padmasana is just having the legs on a surface. And then I'm employing gravity to get my foot, right? The other possibility, if you remember, is putting your buttocks on a bolster. So these are just, again, to ignite your brain. And then Janet, you don't have to stay long. Let's see, Elaine. Yeah, go in and out. Keep that knee low to the floor, Elaine. Good. Low to the floor. Tom, is it possible for you to face me so I can see what you're, yeah, that would be ideal. Nancy, good. Just go in and out. The Padmasana people who did it, taking the right leg, Lubna and Julia, change sides. So that's it, Nancy. So it's a moving along. You're either doing this or what Janet's doing, legs up at the wall. So everyone has something to do according to what they need to do. That's it, Nancy. Leaning in, knee is low. Foot may not be in the groin, but it could be on the thigh. And then over time, it's a circular action. Well done. Stretch out your legs. All right, so now we're going to do, I want you all to do this. For Shavasana, before we do our final Shavasana, I don't know if you remember this, but you're going to take the blanket. So this is the Sarvangasana fold. And I unfold it so it's wider, longer. And then I'd like you to roll it. You've done this. Roll it, roll it, roll it. And then you're going to lie over it. So I'll show in this way. I'm putting my buttocks on this lower end, and then I'm going to recline back. Now, one of the things that back bends does is that it brings you onto your spine. But we're using it differently now because we're toward the end of the class. I don't want you to sleep on your spine in Shavasana. So you're making an impression of your spine on the small roll. Then at some point you'll transition off the roll and be flat, okay? So we're using this to spineize so that we don't sink into the spine in Shavasana. And again, we're using this to lock in the thoracic because after Shavasana, we will sit for a bit of time. Yeah, we've done this one before, and arms can be out to the side, buttocks are on the roll. If you need additional head support, take it. So feel how when you're on the roll, the breath has to organize because it'll feel a little tipsy. The breath will organize around the spine. And because it does so, it doesn't give you the ability to sleep on it. Feel how that has an effect in the armpit, chest, and the skin. If only we could sit, stand, walk, lie with this roll behind us. And then just relax your eyes. You know, at some point it will feel like, the first minute it'll feel like you do have to organize your balance around the breath, but then over time you can just relax. And if your eyes are open, just make the gaze of your eyes gentle and unfiltered. Not fixing on anything in the room. Just experiencing awareness in its most basic sense. Feeling the space around you. Not moving to get someplace. Not attaching to an outcome, not becoming anything. Feeling the natural ease of lying on the floor with this roll, so that the body feels uplifted. And this is why back bends are uplifting, because we spinize the body through back bend. Then what I'd like you to do to transition, I'm going to point this out, is we will remove the roll, but keep that awareness of that cinched in quality without effort, because that's the awareness that you need to have when you're not doing yoga, when you're sitting, walking, lying down. And then we'll finally conclude with sitting upright, as we did with the dowel. You won't use the dowel on the chair at the very beginning. This is all in the effort to come full circle in our daily lives. So now when you're ready, you can just scoot off, have the memory of the spine, the memory of the cinching in. Again, without effort, we're not trying to get some place. It's already there. Body has the memory of that blanket. Now you're off the roll, completely relaxed, palms turned up. Skin is cinched in. Again, but without the trying, without the efforting, it's there. Body has that innate memory. You're still lying down in Shavasana without the roll. Allow yourself to feel the openness in the armpit chest, that naturalness in the armpit chest when we lock in the thoracic. Notice the upper arm skin still turning from the inside out. The actions that we started with at the very beginning of the class. And then, if you'd like, you can gently turn the head from side to side. See if there's a freedom in the neck as the head turns from side to side, having adjusted the arms, having adjusted the trapezius and the shoulders. So what we do for the upper arms and the shoulders and the neck affects the brain, affects the eyes as well. And then I'll give you again a choice. If you want to sit upright to conclude the class, that's wonderful. Otherwise, you can just stay in lying down position. So again, if you choose to sit up, again, adjust the arms from the inside out, adjust the cervical spine so it's lengthening away from the trapezius. Feel the easefulness of sitting when you've cinched in the upper thoracic spine. So sitting for long periods of time, let's just say 30, 40 minutes in a formal meditation practice is quite easeful after this work. That's why we're concluding with it. See that your arms are not held in tight, because what happens is if you bring the elbows too close into the waist, the shoulders will lift and the body will round. Let the arms feel like you have a velvet sleeves on, and that fabric is smooth, draping down toward the floor. You can sense your shoulders like a hanger, and that trapezius skin hangs on the top of the hanger. You need to employ the method I've often talked about, taking the hands to the occiput, spreading the skin and lengthening away. And just sit and know that you're sitting. Sit, know that you're sitting, and all the world will be revealed to you. Some point, maybe not yet, you might notice that you lose that cinching in of the skin at the outer portions of the sides of the chest. Can you have that memory of the Tao being there when you sat on the chair? And we'll conclude the class. Just sense that you're bowing inwardly to yourself. I'm going to unmute everyone. No, I can't do that. I'm just stop the recording. All right.